Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for your support. We are rolling with CC Sundays number 3, and we actually have something good to talk about. By the way, I got a chance to talk to Caitlin earlier this week. I say, hey, I did this new thing. People were into it with the CC Sundays, and you went and got hurt right as we were launching it. And she felt bad. She was apologetic. She's like, hey, don't worry, I'm coming back Saturday. I will give you a show. I will give you something to talk about. We'll get people pumped up. We'll get people watching again, and it'll be great. And hey, you know what? She delivered. I just made that up. Just, for those people who have no sense of humor, whether you thought it was funny or not, I think I wasn't serious, but I would inevitably get comments. Anyway, hope you're having a fantastic day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Appreciate you. Um, yeah, the US Open's on. I'd tell you that's one thing I would Father's Day in the US Open with my pops, man. He did love to watch his big time golf, so that was something we would do. I'll check it out. I was like, can't do that anymore, but you know what? For him, I will check it out. So I want to roll on CC Sundays. We have some things that we need to talk about. Ari McDonald, Sydney Colson, Natasha Howard, some crazy nonsense about comments about Caitlin Clark during the game, LeBron James, the future of the Fever, roster changes, and on and on. So let's roll into Ari McDonald first because I got a lot of people, and I am critical when I think it's deserved. I have questions about the front office and the team they put together, but fair is fair. A lot of people were criticizing the front office and complaining about how unprofessional they are because they didn't keep Ari McDonald. So here's the deal: they couldn't. Okay, now at some point, and I believe from everything I can find, it's 10 days. Could they re-sign Ari McDonald? Yes. Okay, but they had to let her go. They couldn't sign her immediately. Now, will they sign her? I don't know. The way Stephanie White was talking, I don't think it's in their plans. I know a lot of people were saying, hey, sign her, get rid of Turner, which I understand from an overall perspective. But in terms of roster and balance, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me if you've got Sydney Colson. If she's in your plan as your backup point guard, it doesn't make sense to also have Ari McDonald. And Ari McDonald was out balling to get a look, right? This was all about helping the Fever, but for her helping herself to get a job. Hey, the Chicago Sky need a point guard, so you never know. But Ari came in to say, hey, you know what? Remember me? I belong in this league somewhere. And she played with that fire and played with that passion. And look, she's a solid, solid player. But were we going to get what we saw from Ari McDonald all season long? Probably not. She definitely looked extra for the Fever and she had the extra motivation for it. She would play probably 5 or 10 minutes a game, and that's if they cut Colson. And hey, fair is fair again. I'm going to shout out Sydney Colson just like I did in the post game and just say, hey, look, if Sydney Colson can give what she gave in this game consistently, 5, 10, 12 minutes a game, every game, you know, take care of the basketball, settle things down when necessary, hit the open shot when she has it, and she hit a couple of big, big threes. I'm good. That's all we need from Sydney Colson. That is all we need from Sydney Colson. So if she can consistently do that, that is absolutely fantastic. Love to see it. Um, yeah, man. So let's talk about Natasha Howard a little bit because there's a lot of people concerned with Natasha Howard for a few reasons. The way she's been playing obviously has not been great. She's had like one really, really good game, but we've seen some really messy stuff from her wife online. We've seen now some really messy stuff from her sister online, and Natasha Howard talked about her goal being winning MVP, not being helping the Fever win a championship. And yeah, it's looking kind of messy. And a lot of people were like, hey, if Natasha Howard didn't want this from close family, she could put a stop to it. So people are like, hey, you know what? Natasha Howard might be on board with this. She's kind of giving it her approval, and we're getting to hear what Natasha Howard really believes without Natasha Howard saying it. Sort of like Asia Wilson and her best friend Dolores. Her sister went on a rant last night. I think people called attention to it, and it ended up that she deleted it, but she was you know, I'm a do WTF I want, talking about Caitlin Clark. She was hot, but the bigs worked for a rebound off her missed three attempt. Give them a chance to score in the paint. Don't be selfish. It seemed like she was trying to beat Paige Becker's comeback stats, and there was some more of stuff, but I'm not gonna share that. And that leads into body language stuff. We're gonna get there were a lot of people, for those of you who didn't see, Caitlin missed a three. This is what got the offensive rebound. Natasha Howard got the ball. Caitlin was wide open for another three. And I'll keep in mind she was unconscious. She was on fire. Anyone who knows basketball, play or as a fan, when you have someone who's a hot hand, it just seems like they're making everything they put up, you give them the ball and you keep giving them the ball until they are no longer that hot. And so this was the play that the sister was whining and complaining about, and then you had a lot of people like this. Caitlin really got to work on that body language. So hopefully you can see this. YouTube's really been cracking down, but we had the play where she gets in. Caitlin takes that three. Hold on, let me there. Okay, so there we got the rebound, right? We got the rebound off the miss. Boom. Now Howard, Caitlin wide. She's coming back, being trailed, right? Let's go back just a little bit and slow this down to work you through. And this is, this is what people are taking a chance, using this opportunity to trash Caitlin Clark and her body language. Be good. Now, Kate, look, no one's near Caitlin. Right, give her the ball right there, and boom, and she goes up with that three. But no, Howard's going to get in the post. She's going to bang. And look, she made the bucket. There's Caitlin throwing her hands up. But I'm sorry, this is one of those where it's kind of like, oh no, nice shot, right? Type of thing. But no, you got to call that out. That absolutely should have been a ball back to Caitlin Clark. How often do you get Caitlin Clark wide open for a three-pointer? That is a bad play by Natasha Howard. That is Natasha Howard being selfish and worried more about getting her own than she is about helping the team. And and that's what her sister was really upset about. And you had somebody got really upset. I posted up, I think I have it. It gets really confusing. All I have so many tabs open for y'all. Oh, but anyway, I don't know if I can show this, but for those who don't know, because somebody said they tried to show this and they weren't allowed. But you had Dejanay Carrington. This is what happens here is she is clapping and carrying on about her coach not challenging a call she wanted to challenge, and then you got a bunch of people who are like, this is insane, you got to fire the coach. Now if I were to play this, sorry that I just happen to know this clip is a problem. She's clapping at her coach, throwing a temper tantrum that everyone can see. By the way, in the meantime, the other team inbound the ball and scored 5-on-4 because Dejanay Carrington has no interest in actually being a team player and helping her team play defense. So they got to go 5v4 and get a bucket. And everyone's like, oh, well, it's the coach, you got to fire. Oh, they have one challenge. They have to be very selective. It was late in a close game. The coach wanted to save the challenge because he did not want to lose a timeout. And by the way, let's be fair, while there have been times, and we all know Christy Sides had a few, he said, how could you not challenge that? But let's come on. More often than not, players asking for a challenge, they're not thinking about the situation, but also 95% of the time they're wrong because they're in the emotional moment of the situation, and it's just not a coach listening to a player all the time to challenge a call is not going to be it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out so well. um, Now I put up a comment too, and then I just want to talk about this, and I don't know if I have my comment up here or not. But I put out a comment about when Caitlin lit it up. So you had another person here, right? Whenever she's going on a scoring run, she becomes a hothead, emotionally unstable. She starts getting texts when calls don't go her way. She starts throwing her arms in the air constantly. Exhibit A. She's a great teammate. Of course, that part was sarcastic. Uh, but to follow on that, and I think I have it. Um, where is it? Oh man. All right. Yes, and then another one. Too, this is a separate one. Caitlin really got to work on that body language there. But to this person's point, and this is what I said too. I'm a Kobe Lakers fan, and I've watched him and Bron do this numerous times. I've seen Steph do it too. When they're on a heater, they want the ball. It's not that deep. She had 30. Twitter be exposing the non-hoopers. Yeah, and I said that too. Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, those the greats, a lot of the greats, they were incredibly tough on their teammates. And when they were open, when they were hot, like Caitlin Clark was hot, you're damn right that they wanted the basketball. This is nothing new. But again, see, and there's the difference, right? Dejanay Carrington's clapping at her coach about challenging a call while the game's going on. The other team inbounds the ball, goes 5-on-4, and scores in a close game. And that is, oh, you got to fire the coach. Caitlin Clark throws her hands up because you should have given her the damn ball, and that's and that's a problem. Yeah, it's absolutely wild. So we also had, I have it here, right? We had this, and I talked about the referee and the technical foul that Caitlin got on a terrible, terrible call. All she did, I mean, she just said, "Hey, you got it. That's a terrible call." She clapped her hands, and boom, this soft piece of nonsense tees her up. And where is Steph White on this, right? We went through this with Christy Sides, and we thought Steph White would be better, but I didn't see her defending her team at all yesterday, and they got bad call after bad call after bad call. And we had this is wild. This hap isn't real. Yeah, LeBron James tweeted out to Cece, the Cece effect. Welcome back. You were missed. As someone says, here come LeBron hates black women replies. All caps. Why weren't you this excited when Angel Reese won Sportswoman of the Year from BET? Um, well, for one, she didn't deserve it. Why would I don't think anyone was actually thrilled about that other than the 14-year-old Angel Reese boy and girl fans that have fantasies. That was about that was that was about it for all of that. Um, but yeah, but all right, I want to dig into a little more little more substance now. Oh, one other thing that is kind of funny. I think this is it, right? Watching this Fever versus Liberty game, Caitlin Clark misses 19 days. Team looks normal. WNBA in a lull. Comes back and puts up 25 in the first half on the only undefeated team left. If this crap ain't scripted, I don't know what is. So let me get this straight, peeps. Let me get this straight. Caitlin Clark hitting what, three pointers in less than 40 seconds from insane distances. That's somehow scripted. You cannot script that, my friends. You cannot script that. That is absolutely wild that you think that you can script something like that. That is crazy. Cannot be done. I want to go back. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. I'm like trying not to mess you all up by constantly going through all these tabs. But I did have, was it this one? Oh yeah, yeah. See, I put up real quick when she was on that heater. Bam! I put, dear WNBA ladies, if y'all can do this, we'll watch you too. Now, it was the threes that got everyone jacked up, and that is, to be fair, kind of what I got me to post this. But I was talking about her game. I really meant everything about her game because that's so many. Ryan Howard just dropped 9 threes last night. Stop lying, LOL. You're a stan, and that's all you'll ever be. My feelings are hurt. Uh, no, I'm talking about the entirety of Caitlin Clark's game, the entirety of Caitlin Clark's game, which includes, because here's the thing, Ryan Howard hit 9 threes. You watch Caitlin Clark and her 7 threes last night, and you watch Ryan Howard and her 9 threes, and you tell me what is more entertaining to you, what is more exciting to watch, and that's just in the threes, but it's not about the threes. Okay, I mean that's a huge part of it. Yes, it is, but with Caitlin Clark, you also get stuff like this, right? And here, you never know. Boom. Do you understand how difficult that pass is? And she makes passes like this all of the time. That is crazy, folks. That is a top level NFL quarterback dropping it over a triple team right into his wide receiver's hands for a 55-yard touchdown strike. It is about a lot more than her logo threes. the passing, and it's all the passing, right? It's not. It's. I mean, she threw a pass to Kelsey Mitchell that Kelsey Mitchell missed the layup under the basket. It's you never know what is going to happen when the ball's in Caitlin Clark's hands, but it could be really, really exciting full court passes, pinpoint passes in traffic when in the half court game, the behind the back looks. I mean, again, do we have to point to her and AB at the All Star game? It's absolutely wild. This is like, again, sorry, Eagles perspective. These like the Saquon Barkley 60+ yard home run touchdown runs that he was making. It could happen at any time. It's Jalen Hurts to Devontae Smith putting a dagger in the heart of the Chiefs when you think maybe they're just going to run it out, right? That strike for the touchdown. It is the home run ball in baseball. It's not bunting every single at bat from every player. It's boring. You want the anticipation of the monster home run from the slugger that you know could happen at any time. It's everything about Caitlin Clark's game that is exciting and entertaining. That's what a lot of people don't understand. It's not just, oh, well, they play basketball and they're women, and so therefore we have to watch. No, sports is entertainment, and it needs to be entertaining, and it needs to be exciting. And if it's not, no one's going to watch. It's the same with any other sport. It's wild that we're talking about this. You know how many sports are out there also, by the way, on the men's side that people don't watch because they don't find it exciting or entertaining. Look, to be how about this? We'll even leave the gender debate out because I mean there are a lot of men's sports you probably never even heard of because no one watches them. People aren't watching box lacrosse the way they're watching the NFL. But how about this? People aren't watching Premier League football, soccer like MLS. It's a different level of game, and there are lots of MLS fans. And as a soccer person, I will watch MLS matches. But hey, I'm not gonna lie and say it's the same. It is not the same. You can tell the difference between a Premier League match, between a Bundesliga match, between a La Liga match, and MLS. They are on a different level. Okay. So we got to stop that nonsense and scripting games in Fever's favor when you're talking about Caitlin Clark dropping 25 because she's launching insane three-pointers is absolutely wild. Speaking of, here, let me give you this. I found this. Caitlin Clark's three-point distances in the first half, folks: 34 feet, 28 feet, 31 feet, 27 feet, 31 feet, 27 feet. By the way, the three-point line is, I believe, 22 feet away, I think, right? Or is it NBA now? Which would be 23.9 at the furthest point and 22 on the sides. Let me know if I have that right in the comments below. By the way, most 35-5 games in a player's first two seasons. Caitlin Clark has three. Then Candace Parker has two. Nobody else has more than one. Oh, by the way, she also has the most games with 50+ points scored and assisted. Diana Taurasi holds the record. She had 10 in her 565 games. Caitlin Clark already has 9 in her 45 games. Yeah, absolutely wild, right? But look, yesterday, it's all running together now. It was kind of for me like a encapsulation of the WNBA, of what it is now, what its history has always been. Uh, Caitlin Clark put on an absolutely insanely entertaining show. The type of stuff that people find enjoyable to watch, the type of stuff that people want to tune in for. I can't wait to see the ratings on this, and I'm curious about the peak because my guess is when she hit those three threes in like 38 seconds from the next town over, you probably got a lot of people being like, "Hey, you have to watch this. You've got to watch this." So I'm curious what the peak ended up being because I'm guessing it's going to be big compared to the overall rating. Well, then again, maybe they stayed for the whole game, so it just elevated it. But and that's the type of thing. It goes back to what I was saying about it's not just the threes, it's everything else too. Because that's the kind of performance that Caitlin Clark can always give you. Will she? No, come on, even the best can't be that insane all the time, but she's capable of it at any time, which is why people turn in. This is why you have this incredible increase in fans and viewership and merch sales and the ratings and the attend and everything else. Because a Caitlin Clark can do this for you. And then you've got everyone else. Now, to be fair, fewer players do it too. We've talked about it, but the league as a whole, it's been something that's been talked about for 3 decades. I don't get what it is about the women's game. I don't want to say they're just incapable of having that skill when you can have someone like Caitlin Clark or Sabrina or Kelly, that shoot threes the way they do. But man, the women's game has a lot of missed layups, a lot of missed uncontested layups. Man, it just blows my mind. Like I said in the post game, Caitlin Clark had 9 assists. She probably would have had what, 12, 13, 14 if people would just make wide open layups. I mean, you cannot have pro basketball players that routinely miss easy layups. You just can't. It's one of the things that has made this league completely unwatchable until Caitlin Clark came in. And then, of course, we'll hear whenever we criticize and talk about how the issues with the league and why people didn't watch, then we get the whole, oh, you're not a real fan, right? Just like that person said, when I said, hey, if y'all can do this, we'll watch too, and called me a stan. You're not a real fan. You're just a Caitlin Clark fan. You're a stan, whatever. No, man. I am a fan of entertaining basketball. And by the way, right now, I don't find the NBA all that entertaining either. I would rather watch college ball now than the NBA just because of the style and the way the game is played. And to be fair, even the way the game is officiated, which, leads into the way the game is played. But look, man, start making layups consistently. That'll help. Play with a little more pace, lessen the physicality. Basketball's a contact sport for sure, but I think we all know by now the physicality of the WNBA is different than what we would think of with just the physicality of basketball. And this is why I keep saying, also stop being so damn unlikable. Stop being unlikable. Uh, Tone down the activism that's out of this league. Please tone it down. You had Nafisa Collier, and I don't know, I can't remember if she was asked, but she had to go off about the situation in Minnesota last night, and which was awful, absolutely awful, right? By the way, um, same party, by the way, the people that were unalived, unfortunately, and the person who did it. So as horrible as it sounds, anyway, but she had to talk about that, I think, after the game, and talk about how her daughter has fewer rights than she does now, which has absolutely nothing to do with that. And all you did was get a whole lot of people to watch it, be like, F you, Nafisa Collier. You don't even know what you're talking about. Fewer, right? And I'm not anyway, I don't want to make a lecture in that, but I'm just saying that turns off a lot of people. Your customer base is Americans. Stop dividing them. So anyway, let's get back to the Fever. And what does the future hold for the Fever? We know they just had a 1-1 week. They had a terrible beatdown from Atlanta without Caitlin Clark, a huge and entertaining win with Caitlin Clark. It was also huge to have Sophie back. Roster issues. Let's talk about it. Turner, Howard, Bonner, they're all roster issues right now, folks, with the way that they're playing. I don't see how they can integrate themselves with Caitlin Clark. Well, Turner's not even really playing. Crazily enough, and I said I'll always be fair when I got to be fair. Colson right now, she comes across as the most reliable of that group to me. Well, I mean, other than Sophie, but Sophie was a trade. I'm not even including her. But yeah, I mean, right now I'm good with Sydney Colson if she can continuously deliver that kind of performance. Timpson, maybe start playing Timpson. That might be helpful. Let's give her a shot. She might have been effective. And by the way, I'm wondering if maybe she gets a shot over Natasha Howard at this point. And that begs the question, is there a trade happening before the deadline? Will the Fever look to upgrade? Will they look to maybe ship off Natasha Howard or Brianna Turner or Dewana Bonner? I'm looking at this from a perspective of bolstering the team and the depth to make that championship run that they talk about. Because right now we're looking at Howard and Bonner as players that need to come off the bench, both of them, and maybe be 10 to 15-minute players. But that makes it look like, unfortunately, on paper, we looked at this in the offseason, like, this is a pretty deep team. And Steph keeps still talking about the depth, but it's actually not in reality right now a deep team because of I mean, Turner's not even playing. Bonner and Howard not playing well. And they're just not looking like they can fit into this team. And Howard being this post up player and wanting the ball in the paint, we already have Boston for that. We already have Demiris Dantas for that. We don't need to be the Chicago Sky with Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso clogging the paint together, slowing things down, taking away the space that makes the Indiana Fever effective. right? There was a play last night because she wanted to use up some clock where Caitlin Clark kept the ball, dribbled a lot, dribbled into the paint, really had a good opportunity to shoot an 8-10 footer, dribbled dribbled around in a circle in the paint, and then with a really nice bounce pass, found Kelsey Mitchell wide open in the corner, and Kelsey Mitchell put the dagger in. Nailed the three, put the dagger in. It was a huge, huge bucket at the time. If you've got multiple players who want to post up, which is the issue Chicago finds because their guards can't drive because of that, then you have a crowded paint and your guards like a Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hull, Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark. There's no place to drive to the bucket and either draw fouls, get buckets, or kick the ball back out for open jumpers and open threes. So it's looking a little unbalanced. It's looking a little unbalanced. But look, as Caitlin Clark goes, I think we know at this point, so go the Indiana Fever. The team is a championship contender if two things: Caitlin Clark stays healthy and White gets on board with the most effective offense, which is Caitlin Clark and the ball in her hands. Read and react. Run when she can run. Pick and roll with AB. Let Caitlin Clark be Caitlin Clark and work off of that. And when she's not in, you can do things a little differently. Although I think with some of the players you have, like AB and Kelsey and Sophie and Lexi, and even sit a little, you can still, it doesn't have to be a fast break team, but you can still be a little bit up tempo and try and take advantage of mismatches that might happen because you're pushing the ball up into the half court a little more quickly. Like I said, they were taking like 58, 59 shots a game without Caitlin. They took 77 last night. That would lead the league. They were leading the league when Caitlin got hurt with like 73.6 or something like that. Oh, and by the way, I do want to remember to show this. Again, she doesn't use it a lot because she doesn't need to use it a lot. But this idea that Caitlin can't get her own shot, she led the league in unassisted points last season, and she has no mid-range game is, of course, absolutely absurd because you can see that she can do it whenever she wants to. I mean, that's just a sweet little play. She recognized, hey, I got a mismatch, right? It's kind of like the three she took on uh, Brianna Stewart. For those of you that saw that, if you noticed when they got that pick and that switch, and she had Brianna Stewart on her out there that far, she waved everyone to the other side of the court because she knew that's a mismatch. She said, I'm feeling it, and I'm either gonna just take this three, which she did, or let's face it, she'd take Brianna Stewart off the dribble because Brianna Stewart is not quick enough to stay with Caitlin Clark. And by the way, that's not a knock on Brianna in there. That's just a mismatch, right? Brianna is a big, and she actually moves pretty well out there for a big, but she's not going to guard a point guard like Caitlin Clark like that and keep her from getting to the bucket. Oh, I did want to show this because this is wild too. This was, I think, the referees trying to kill momentum because they actually stopped the game to review this. Look where Kelsey Mitchell is, folks. Okay, that's not Caitlin Clark range, but that's clearly a 3-point shot. But they stopped the game to review that to make sure it was a three and not a two. That is absolutely 100% absurd. They called this a foul on Lexi Hull, which is absolutely absurd as well. And that is kind of the thing we got with the officials over and over and over again. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. We're rolling kind of long again. Sorry about that. I get going and I just can't stop. But yeah, so there you had it. 32 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 7 3-pointers made, 25 points in the first half. Uh, like I said, it was a little concerning that she had no points in the fourth quarter. It was a little concerning the type of offense Steph came out to start the second half with that sort of really slowed things down, took Caitlin out of her game. But also, yeah, I think Caitlin was just the gas tank was empty. She was not going to put it into a lower gear and pace herself, as obviously she came out absolutely on fire. But yeah, man, so Caitlin Clark is back in case you hadn't noticed. I'm going to leave it there. I hope you all are enjoying this. Hope you're having a great Father's Day. I am putting this, if you're watching it at the time, I am putting this up as a premiere again. So, and I realize it's a day not everyone can join, but I want to put it up anyway, and hope you can check it out. I will be in chat. Yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below about all this. What you think about the Fever going forward, the coaching, what kind of offense they're going to run. Are they going to have trades before the trade deadline? The whole deal. Who should play? Who should start? You know the deal. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you so much. I will talk to you later.